Computer. Awesome. Welcome, everybody.
Yeah.
It is Monday again, and that means it's time for the
Hashtag
TFR Motivation
Motivation
Monday
Monday.
team call. Thanks for hopping on here. Just know that if you can't be with us live, that's okay too. We love everybody being on here live because you actually get a little bit more out of it with the
Live
excitement.
interaction.
Yeah, for sure. But if not, we do have these calls recorded every single week, and we upload them to the Team Freedom Reigns YouTube channel or the Freedom Reigns SoundCloud. Go and subscribe to both of those today so that you can get notifications when we upload new content for you, okay? So go ahead on this one.
Yeah, guys. So just want to remind you guys, when you guys are enrolling, you're in an enrolling phase. It's the new year. It's the new enthusiasm, new excitement, new enrollment prospect capacity, especially with our hashtag 500 Club challenge going on right now. Step one is to get your new person involved. And as soon as they get their ID number, it's pedal to the metal on the Paysetter program, because getting them to Paysetter Pro 2 in their first 30 days is $100 in your pocket. Then you follow that up the next month, another $100 in your pocket. And in the first 90 days to get them to Pro 3, Paysetter Pro 3 is another $250 in your pocket.
And not in your pocket, but the new distributor's pocket.
Yes, in the new distributor's pocket. And then that second month at Paysetter Pro 3 is another $250. And if you can add that all up, that's $700 into your brand new person's pocket just for getting Pro 2 and Pro 3 in the first 90 days, on top of the commissions that they're already making from the enrollments that they're going to be enrolling in or getting from the commission. So hammer this hard, guys and gals.
You know, it's so important. We're talking about that first dollar concept that increases the rate and the time that they will actually spend with you in business. But on top of that, the foundational rank. We help people get to this foundational rank of Pro 3, and that will set them up for success for as far as they want to take their LifeVantage business. And guys, January is the final month for rushing to this Pro 5 hustle to where you can actually earn an additional $2,250. You hit Pro 5 this month, and you get qualified for that $500 for qualifying as a Pro 5 in your business for the first time. Next month, you maintain it, you get an additional $750, and the next month after that, an additional $1,000 by maintaining that Pro 5. And by the way, guys, once you do that, you're also qualified for the Pro 5 Summit, which is super exciting. And something that everybody needs to be shooting for.
10 days left. Make it happen.
So everything that we're talking about, enrolling new people, whether it's customers or distributors, helping them rank advance, and you rank advancing yourself, it's also getting you points towards this incentive trip, the Ireland incentive trip. Travel dates are August 24th through 30th, and we have clear through the end of April to be able to qualify. So if you have not set out your plan yet, let's get on it right now. And again, pedal to the metal so that we can help you have great success in this. And now Elite Academy in Charleston, South Carolina. It's only 2 weeks out, right? I know, we're all so super excited. And guys, the only thing waiting does
cost you more money.
Yeah, so go and get registered right now, because you know you need to go. If you want to be successful in your LifeVantage business, you must attend these events, and you can make it happen. As a matter of fact, tomorrow and Wednesday are going to be your best opportunities for getting the best rates for your airfare. It's still 2 weeks out, and the biggest sales happen on those days. So go get pre-registered, talk to your team. Someone can help you with, you know, either sharing a room, bunking with someone, and then just, you know, we just worked with a girl on the team that she combined points, her and her husband, for travel points, so that she got one-way ticket paid for with the points. And then all they had to do was pay for a single one-way ticket for her to be able to make it out to Charleston, because she knows it's that important for the success of her business.
Great job, Melanie. That is being resourceful and making it happen.
Doing whatever it takes. And Friday, guys, so Pro 4 Leadership Call is this coming Friday, January 25th. It is at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. This call is for Pro 4s and above. So guys, please don't give the live link out to everybody on your team. This is an earned call. It's a privilege to be on this call, and it's an amazing incentive to help your team want to get to Pro 4. So please don't diminish it by giving it out to everyone. The people that have qualified need to be on this call, and then let's help everybody else rank advance to Pro 4.
Yeah, let me explain a little bit about that. So getting your people involved in information like this that you would see on the call is a great strategy, but let me talk to you why this is a Pro 4 and above call, because the content, the subject, the leadership material is just over the head of the brand new people that are under Pro 4. So it's not that we want to deprive anyone of information. We want to give them the incentive to qualify for this call so they can get on it, as Marcy said, like a privilege, because it's higher content. It's greater information with leadership capacity, and you need to earn your way on this call. So yeah, just wanted to clarify that we don't want to deprive anybody. We want to encourage everybody to get here, but it's the earning of the right to be on this call will bless you greatly, because the confident or the content on the call and the level of thinking is at a much higher level than an introductory call. And it's on the 1st and the 25th of every month.
Yes. All right, guys. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of this call, right? This amazing, good-looking couple right here. We've actually got the male part of this couple here with us tonight. You want to introduce our guest?
The elite pro 9, Mr. Tony Krashowitz, and I've known Tony we've probably been in this business about as long, so probably going on 10 years. I call Tony the gentle giant because I'm 5'10". He's like 6'13" or something. He's just a huge guy, but his personality, his heart, his compassion, his caring is even bigger than him. He is just one of the greatest gifts we have as a resource here at LifeVantage, not only as a human being, and he's one of our favorite human beings on planet Earth. He is just one of the best teachers, the best instructors that we have as far as getting people to understand the content. And he's one of those guys that is so diverse. He can talk to the CEO of a Fortune 500 company and then turn around and talk to a high school dropout and get exactly the same power to both of these people, because he's that diverse to be able to change his languaging and his experience and the way he's talking to people. He can talk to everybody at their level. And he's going to do it. You guys just wait to what he goes into tonight. But Tony, we are super grateful that you took the time out. And what do you want to say about this amazing guy?
I love him. I love you. I love Mari. I love just your whole love story and your story in general. And that's why we wanted to have you on here, is because you are such a passionate person. You have been through the ringer and back a few times, and you're still here because you have the vision. But, really the topic that we'd love for you to just share your expertise and your passion behind is, what is your plan B and what are you willing to do to get it? So we're going to go ahead and stop sharing here so that we can see your beautiful face on this screen. Awesome. So Tony, please take it away for us.
Good. Well, that was a very generous and gracious introduction. Thank you both. I love you both. You're right, Dondi. We've been in this just about the same time. I come on board September of 2009. You guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my story with you, and then I'm going to highlight a couple things as I share my story that I think are important. And Marcy, you hit it right on the head. It's got to be a plan B. When I saw that ABC primetime, and I'm gonna tell you this, guys, nobody's interested until they're interested. Okay, nobody's interested until they're interested. We want it to be easy to get this in front of people, and a lot of times it's not, because I wasn't the easiest person to get in front of it either. I didn't want to go to the barbecue. I didn't want to see this thing. At least I didn't think I did. But once I saw the ABC primetime video, my mind changed, and it made me want to look at it further. So long story short, we signed up the next day as distributors and started building the business. Now I'm driving truck about 12 to 14,000 miles a month. I'm moving furniture, so I'm going in and packing boxes and loading up household goods, going back and forth across the United States. And if they would have told me that, hey, you're going to have to get out of the truck and go full tilt into this business on day one, I wouldn't have been able to do it. So that's why it's so powerful to let people know this is a plan B. This is something you do on the side along with what they're currently doing to make income. So there's no income drop at all. We just start putting this in the nooks and crannies of our life and start building a business. Now, it takes consistency and commitment and dedication. It's not going to happen through osmosis or magic. So what did I do? First, I was excited. You guys, when you find something incredible and you find a way to get your family in a different situation, I was missing a ton of time at home, almost 3 million miles of driving and trying to get home and wanting to be home longer and having to leave and come back and come in and out of my family's life. I was just pretty much done with that. I was tired of having that situation go on. So LifeVantage for me was a breath of fresh air and a great plan B that I could do on the side. So one of the things we got to do is we have to take advantage of our time, you guys. You have to be intentional. You have to schedule your business. So I got my database together, I got organized, and I started going to work when I had time. Now, I couldn't do it when I was loading my truck or unloading the truck, but I found that I had time once I got on the open road that I could start making phone calls. Now, I know this might shock you. I was up in Portsmouth teaching the LVA, and they're like, how did you get to Pro 5 in the truck? And I said, it's not that I was in the truck or you're in your car, or you're sitting at your office. what it comes down to is doing a high level of exposure consistently over a long period of time. It's not something you can do one here, a little bit here, a little bit there, but you got to get some consistent time in. And so my goal is, I'll just tell you what my goal was, and I really shot for this goal. You got to decide yours, but I wanted to put that ABC primetime video in front of 5 people a day, 5 days a week. That was kind of like my little mojo, my little pattern that I set up. And then I would do my follow-ups and resolving concerns and answering questions from there on out. But again, look at your schedule. When are you going to build your business? Get in there and start blocking out chunks of time. I call it protecting your dates. Start protecting your dates, specifically when it comes to the events and the trainings. That's another piece. You can't miss any of those. And even though I was driving truck, I found a way to get to these trainings and to the elite academies and conventions, because I was told if I really wanted this to work for me, that I had to be at these events and also get my team to these events so that we could grow a business together. And it's right on dot. We don't want to sugarcoat it for you and tell you that there's any other way to get around this, you guys. This is the pattern, the proven plan, the way to build this business. And so I started making lots of calls, inviting people, sharing the information with them, following up, signing people up. Can you believe that? I was literally pulling over on the side of the road or on the off-ramp or in a rest area or a truck stop, and I was literally signing people up as I was doing this on the side, you guys. So it's a great plan B. So how long did it take me to get free? It took about a year. It took about a year. And again, not everybody has to have the focus that they're going to leave whatever their plan A is. Mine was definitely desirable because I wanted more control of my time and to be with my family. And I found myself in that position where I sold my truck and trailer about a year in and exited from doing that and putting more effort full-time into my LifeVantage business. But let me go back to what it is again. Here's what it's going to take to build your business. You have to do activity consistently over a period of time. And that's the magic of this business right there, you guys. And just go get her done. Go out there and make those exposures, make invites. And I tell you what, keep it simple. Keep it super simple. There's nothing really hard about this. We make it harder than it has to be on the simplicity of the information we have, what we have. Now you look at where we're at today. It's staggering where we're sitting going into year 10 with LifeVantage, because Dondi and Marcy and I, when we got back, I don't want to call it the old days or anything, but when this thing started, we had about a little peek of the vision of where this potential of this company can go. When you look at the pieces and how they're in place today and you see the opportunity today, holy cow. This is greater than we ever thought it was going to be on where we're heading to, you guys. It's going to be magnificent, amazing where LifeVantage is going. There's no better time than right now to get involved in LifeVantage. You need to share that enthusiasm and posture and excitement with people, because I can tell you right now, we're in the month of change. January is the month when people are looking for change in their lives. You're going to find more people that are going to have their ear open to your message today and this month more than ever, because people are thinking, what happened last year? Where did we get? Where do we want to go? Do we want to get more financial security? Do we want to be healthier? All that's going on right now. So get into your databases, start moving really quickly and finding these people, because you can't make somebody do this, but you sure can find somebody that's ready to do this right now. So I'm just excited, you guys. I'm looking at my little notes here. Man, that was fast. I should have wrote a few more notes, but I'm happy to answer any questions, or if there's another piece of my story you would like me to tell, I can do that too.
You know, I would really love for you to go more in depth into your story, because you have, I mean, this has not just been a matter of you doing the proper behaviors for a long enough period of time. Life has happened. Huge. Yeah. Like
yes.
literally you've been punched in the throat several times. And so I want people to understand that, you know, it hasn't been easy. It has not. But it was started with a decision though, and a commitment.
Well, and here's the thing that you got to look at, and maybe I focus on a little bit differently. Nothing's LifeVantage's fault or your opportunity's fault, right? We all get life. We could get divorced, we could have family pass away. You know, my situation was just over a year of being in this and hitting Pro 6. You know, my wife was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. So we had this huge mammoth of a battle just show right up on us, you know, and that can happen to anybody. And it doesn't matter if I was, I'm driving truck and had still been in the truck. And to me, I look at it as a blessing, because had I still been in the truck and not had built a business on the side like this, that well would have been dry. Because after Barbara passed away, and there was no way I could go back to the truck having 8 kids at home. My youngest was 3. There would have been no way it would have been like financial devastation. And when we just had to pick up and figured out how to do it from there. But because of putting that whole year, a little over a year, about 14 months of investment into this business and having the pieces in the place, I didn't have to have that happen to me. And so it was a bittersweet time. Again, all of us have obstacles and things, and it was a really tough situation to go through. But, you just pick up your wagon and continue to move west and go forward. And I started building, hit Pro 7, and things are going along. I get remarried, and lo and behold, it was 3 years later, that didn't work out. So it's kind of another throw of the screwdriver into the transmission. And that can happen to people too, right? And these are just life things that go on. My father passed away. Actually, I had a deal for a while where my brother and sister passed away. It was kind of crazy within 3 years. It was just a lot of stuff going on. But there was things, because I was Pro 7, Pro 8, and then Pro 9, that I had the latitude to do a lot of different things than I would have had I not had that option. I tell you guys, this business and having residual income is such a blessing. When these things come along, it just gives you a lot more freedom and a lot more choice to not have these things impact you like they could. Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. While you were sharing that part of your story, I was just like, well, what if he had not taken that time for that year before your first wife, was diagnosed with cancer, to build this and be serious about it and do what it took? That 5 people watching the video 5 days a week, 5 people every single day for 5 days a week. What if you had not done that and just had this well completely dug before that whole thing happened?
Yeah, it would have been financially devastating, because, as I mentioned, there was no way. I would have just had to have them repossess the truck and trailer, and had to figure out, to go from there, because, I couldn't just take off or throw 8 kids in the truck with me.
Right.
And deliver furniture.
Right, exactly. So I'm going to say one thing to your son that's opening the door right now. You better have those dishes done really, really good, young man.
Kids are awesome, aren't they? We all get this. This is part of it too. I'm like, okay, guys, you gotta get out of the office. We're gonna do a Zoom call. It's really important. I'm trying to give them something to do. Go into the dishwasher or something. They still find their way in here.
Yeah, absolutely no worries at all.
Yeah.
But one last thing I wanted to say on that topic we were just talking about digging your well. What would you say to someone that says, hey, I don't really I don't need to spend the time building this right now because I've got a really great job. I love my job. I get paid really well. I'm comfortable. It's like, why do I need to spend my time doing this now? What would you say to them?
Here's the thing, is that this industry is unique. There isn't many places that we can get leveraged income. Yeah, I was making really big money in the long haul scene too, but I gave up a lot of time to do it. And again, it's something you can do on the side along with what you're doing. So what's the trade-off? One, we could be putting ourselves in a position in case some of these things come along in our life and hit us. The other is, this is what I ask people too. I'm like, look, if you had a time machine and you could go back and get in front of Apple or Microsoft or Amazon or Netflix, wouldn't that have been incredible to create that kind of wealth? And like everybody I asked to is like, oh, that'd be fantastic. That'd be great. That's why you got to do this business. We're sitting in front of something just as big, if not bigger than that. And we have a component that those other opportunities and sure, you can go buy some stock. You can leverage how much money you can pull together now and invest in those companies. But also we get to get on the leverage side of building residual income. It's the sweetest type of income that you can make. And if they want time freedom, I just ask them, do you really want time freedom? Do you have to wait till you're 75 to retire? No, you could do it now. Why not we just do it now so that we can have leveraged income now instead of pushing it off till later? So yeah.
Well, and I think that people are not quite wrapping their heads around where things are going to be moving in the next 5 years, because many people that are secure in their positions right now, they kind of got their heads dug down in the sand and they're not aware, or they don't want to admit. They know what's coming, but they're completely in denial that technology is coming and it's going to take over so many jobs where people think that they're secure and they have no security really, because it's all about that human factor, right? Humans make mistakes. Humans take longer to do things. Humans cost more. There's loss of product when humans are involved. If a robot comes in and takes over their position, there's going to be so much money saved for that employer. And that's what's coming. That is what's happening. And so even when people feel secure, and this is coming off of a conversation I had with a woman at LVA on Saturday, that her husband loves his job, and her why had been to get her husband home, but he doesn't want to come home. And I'm like, well, then you've got to be the one that's got your head in the game, and you're creating this security blanket for your family, because something is going to come and take because he's in a field that technology is going to be rising really fast. So
you got that, and the double-edged sword of as you get older, more mature, you hit a age where you're unemployable, kind of. And it's somewhere around the late 50s, early 60s is you have to transition, because we already know that kids coming out of college now and going to the workplace, they're going to change probably up to 7 times or more. They're the different jobs that they're going to have to transition to or move to, because it's not the same in our economy anymore. And then you hit a later age, then you become too expensive, you cost too much, medical and all that comes into place. I was just actually reading a stat. This is kind of staggering, you guys, just on millennials and having a plan B side hustle going on. Did you guys know that 6 out of 10 of millennials have a side hustle going on?
Wow.
Yeah. And so that's another massive demographic that's coming into this equation. Again, why network marketing? Why LifeVantage? Because of the leveraged income. You can Uber it, you can Lyft, you can do these side things to create income. But where can we find that leverage residual income that keeps paying you over and over and over again? It's here in this industry. It's worth fighting for, you guys. It's worth every bit of what you're going to go through to build it.
Absolutely. And one of the things, Tony, I'd like you to comment on is time. Time is the one commodity that is so precious, and we'll never get it back. Time is something that always moves forward. We can't go back unless we had a time machine, and nobody's developed one yet. But talk to us about the value of time when you have, like you said today, you became a grandfather for the 5th time. You got your 5th grandchild today. So
I know it's hard to hide your age when you have grandkids.
Oh no,
you're in your mid-20s. How the heck did that happen?
I know. I'm like, I can't do the math. It's not adding up.
So with you and Mari having 11 kids between you, now you've got 5 grandchildren. That precious time to be able to spend with grandchildren, because people, and I read statistics about people's passing on. And I've never read a statistic where I've never read a comment from someone who has passed on and died that they regret all the time they spent with their friends and family. It's always the time they wish they would have spent. And that's one of the things about this residual income you were talking about. We buy back our time, and we get to a certain point where we can now choose to spend the time with who we want to, when we want to. How has that affected your life in a positive way?
Well, it's the tale of 2 cities, basically, right? Because I lived that not having very much time. And I think a lot of us are in that situation, whether it's on a daily basis. Me, is about every 10 to 14 days I'm gone, and then I'm coming home and trying to cram my life into 3-4 days. Where today I do work, and I love working hard, I love playing hard, but I have time to choose to do that. Just think about that. If you had the power of your schedule in your hands. Now, we got to go create it. I'm not saying as soon as you start this thing, there's a balance that's lopsided. You got to put more time and effort into it once it gives you that time back. Think about just having that control and power of your schedule and saying, I can work here. I'm going to go to the family things here, and we're going to do this. I drove my kids nuts actually 2 summers ago. I was so excited for them to get out of school. You guys don't know how close I've come to homeschooling my last 3 just to get that out of the way. And motorhome sitting there, and we took off, and we were gone almost the whole summer, and we went all the way to the East Coast, Northeast, did all kinds of incredible things. And then we got home, and there was only a couple weeks left before school. Like, man, Dad, we spent almost the whole summer out on the road, but it was a blast. I'll tell you another side of it that actually came front and center for me. So when my wife had passed away, and I had to sit there and look back at those 21 years we were together and all the things I was doing to work and everything. And I was like, wow, I miss so much and everything. And it was a bittersweet deal, because I had to actually come face to face and say, you know what, I ran out of time with her. There's nothing I could do to go back and get that back now. And so I took that and thought, okay, what am I going to do different here in the future? Because there's some regrets. I'm sure we all have some regrets and things like that when these things come along, and it's like, for me, I was like, man, if we just could have had a few more years, because we finally got to that point where things had switched around, but everything's in God's hands, and we just have to accept that and move forward. But where we're at today, it's incredible. Mari and I have a lot of latitude and a lot of fun, and I kind of get her in trouble sometimes too. So I'm kind of the troublemaker around here at the house.
I can imagine.
Like my kids will be like, Dad, when are you going to go on a trip? That's when I know I've been around too much.
You've had enough.
Sheriff's around here too long.
So I have one more question for you before we thank you for being on with us. So I know that now that you're an Elite Pro 9, your duties and responsibilities to your business are so much different than they were when you first started. But what are you doing personally to stay in that phase 1 of inviting and enrolling?
That's actually an awesome question. And that's what we talked about at our leadership meeting up in Portsmouth. And you guys know this as well as I. What is the first thing we do when we sign up? What's our focus? Databasing, inviting, presenting. Databasing, inviting, presenting. Over and over and over. Exposure, exposure, exposure. Well, as we start to build a team and we get 10, 15, 20, 30 distributors on board, and then we're driving down in depth, we go away from exactly phase 1, right? Because we should, but here's what I've learned. Here's what I found is that never get out of phase 1.
Never.
Right.
So guess what I'm doing? I'm in phase 1. I told them, I said, here's what I'm doing. Here's my database. Here's where I'm going. And it's the number of exposures in that consistent amount of time. It has to be for a length of time. It can't just be the onesie twosies don't really work a little bit, throwing it out, one invite here. And I got so horrible at following them. This is like the confessions of a Pro 9. I got so horrible. I get phone numbers everywhere. And then I'll sit there and be so busy, and then I'll start looking, and I go, oh, yeah, I remember I got that number like 3 months ago. And maybe you guys have experienced a little of that yourself too. Yeah. And I feel like, I go, man, what am I doing? It's because of focus. And so I got to turn. That's what we were talking about leadership meeting. You got to go and you got to focus. Yeah, don't leave this over here, what you're building and the teams you're building with. You keep those going. You always keep driving in those. But go back over here, and this again, protecting your dates, putting in your schedule, being intentional. Phase 1, building, database, inviting, presenting. Yeah. For yourself, you got to keep bringing frontline distributors on. I guess depending on how much business you want to build. My goal is Pro 12.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's Pro 12, and I know in order to go from 9 to 12, it's going to take more frontline distributors and more lines of distribution to go find more people that want to get to the elite ranks of the company.
Yes. Yes. Yes and amen.
Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely.
Anything else?
Wow. Just one last thing to comment on, Tony, is that from your vantage point now as an Elite Pro 9, looking down into your business with the leaders that you've mentored and followed along with you, and they're at various stages of their life where they're now getting the blessings of also having residual income and different choices. And from a father's perspective and grandfather's perspective in your own home, there's the blessing of your own children and your own grandchildren. But talk to us about your business children when you look at your leaders and know what kind of quality of life that they now have, that they can perpetuate. How is that blessed you?
It's one of the sweetest pieces that we don't see coming in this business. Because let's be honest, we all get involved in this for us.
Yeah.
We see what we need, and that's good because it's got to start there. But then you start to understand as you're building this, the more you can help other people get what they want and they experience that freedom, not only the more that you're going to get in return, but also the security and depth that you're building because you have leader stacked upon leader. And it's just like today, Marilyn Johnson texted, say, hey, I'm on my way. My daughter's going to have her baby anytime now. I'm excited to fly out to San Francisco. She couldn't do that 6-7 years ago. Mm-hmm. She had 3 jobs. She was strapped down. She would just said, sorry, honey, send me some pictures and things like that. When one of our grandsons was born back in October, again, it was caught us by surprise. Oh, we're here. And I hurry up and changed some things around and jumped on a flight and went up and I didn't get to be there for the birth, but I got there just a little bit after. But just to be able to do that. Yes. And, the Everett Schillings and Sherry and on, and Day 11 Seattle, there's so many folks in our organization that live completely different lives than they did 7-8 years ago. And I want to find more of those. And there's more in development right now that are getting closer and closer to crossing that threshold of freedom.
Yes. Yes, and amen.
It is such a blessing.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Tony. And thank you for taking the time away from your family. Please tell Mari thank you and your kids
Yes,
thank you.
give her a hug.
I can go in there and get a dishwasher unloaded.
You're so funny. Oh my gosh. All right, team. So we just want to make sure that we remind every single one of you that Elite Academy is coming up. Get registered, get going. You've got to make it there. And on top of that, tomorrow night, Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, every single week, we're coming to you live with an opportunity overview, live on Facebook and also via Zoom. So be looking for your emails or on the Team Freedom Reigns Facebook page for details. So this is the end of another #TFR Motivation Monday call. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
You bet. Thank you for having me on. Thank you. Have a good night.
See you in South Carolina in a couple weeks.
Bye-bye.
All righty. Bye-bye.